The Do This podcast is part of the Win, Make, Give podcast network. Join Bob Stewart, Chad Hyams, and their guest, David Brough. Together, they dive into the dynamics of a thriving real estate business. David, from Fort Wayne, Indiana, shares insights into successfully managing 20-plus agents with around 300 to 350 annual deals. The discussion centers on leveraging Brivity and VAs, setting team standards, and the significance of effective client engagement. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Do This podcast, presented by Brivity.
Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Chad Hyams, how you doing, buddy?
I'm fantastic, Bob Stewart. Go Team USA.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a fun game yesterday, huh?
Yeah.
They're gonna be in Seattle now in a couple days.
Yes.
I'm assuming like the worst ticket in the house is gonna be $3,500 or something crazy.
I saw $5,000 the other day when someone posted a quick ticket, thing, and they're attempting to stripe out. So if you are going to the game and you're hearing our voice, you've got to find the diagram that shows where you sit, what color you're supposed to wear. They're attempting to American flag stripe out the stadium.
I can't. I don't have $20,000 to take me and my three boys for a soccer game. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah, that is nuts. Yeah.
David, do me a favor. We're not talking soccer. We probably could. We could sit here for the rest of the. Let's talk real estate. Let's talk a little bit about your business. And wow, man, I've been in your Brivity. You guys have an amazing business. Can you introduce yourself really quick to the group?
Yeah. So I'm David Brough. I'm out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. Been doing real estate since 2010. Started our brokerage as the Indie company. 2012, partnered with Place. 2023. And we've got about 22 agents. Saw about 300 to 350 deals a year. And lately been finding a lot of good success, leveraging Brevity and VAs and systems. And I think that's why we're on here today. But that's me.
Cool. You mentioned you've got a couple kids. Tell me a little bit about what do you do for fun?
Yeah. Well, right now we're in Gatlinburg, and
okay.
Yeah, it's great. So it's funny because we were talking about the World Cup, but last year I promised them, hey guys, we're gonna go to a World Cup game in the summer for summer vacation, and looked at tickets nah, I'm not spending $15,000, for just for the tickets alone, not everything else. So, but we like travel. I don't know. People think I'm crazy, but I like working on my house. I have a house that just I'm constantly doing stuff on it. So that is what I like to do when I'm not working. Just like home projects, mowing, stuff like that. I built a really cool desk. I go on walks, spend time with my family. It's not that exciting.
I think there's something to be said for somebody in real estate that has a passion for working on their house, right? 30 years in, and look, you're building a business where in 30 years in, you'll make a decision on whether you want to go take somebody out to see a house or not.
Yeah.
But when you do, you'll still like that feeling of walking into a house and looking at it being oh wow, they could, there's extra space over here. I love that.
Yeah. Every house I've ever owned, I don't know how you can sit in your house every day and not be like, I could do this. I want to improve. I don't know. I don't know how you could not do that. So.
Because you are not handy, so you don't notice those things intentionally so that I can relax and watch the football match.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
He's not buying it, I don't think. Hey, you guys have a lot of agents, it's 20 or so, but when I'm in your Brevity, you guys have a really healthy distribution of business, David. Lots of agents are participating in the 175 closed and pendings that you guys have had this year. It's a wide swath of them. What is there a secret? Why do you have so many agents engaged and really showing up to hit their own goals?
Well, man, that is a good question. So, I would say that we have agents doing kind of different things. I mean, so when we partnered in Place, we had probably 6 or 8 really great agents that were just on their own running, right? Running their own business, and they don't need a lot of support from us. And they're heavy sphere. They're people that I would say all of them, they show up in the community. They are just really well connected, networked, just solid, great people. And their business has been strong. I mean, they consistently sell 25 to 35, the core of them, homes per year. And then, our place agents, we've tried different things. We've tried Zillow. We were with Zillow Premier or Zillow. Well, we never went to Zillow Flex, but we're on Zillow for several years. We do buyer webinars, we do open houses. There is not like one single lead source, I would say, that just dominates all of the others outside of Sphere. And I've thought about that question before. I don't have. It's weird, but I don't have like a really great answer for that.
Do you guys have rhythms? Like when somebody what does it look like in the morning to walk into to Anthony Realtors?
The Anthony Realtors office. It is going to be more of a hybrid type office. Sometimes there'll be 3 or 4 people there. Sometimes it's just going to be our operations people there. It's an in and out style office, so people are there preparing for appointments. We do a power up every morning. We do a Monday team meeting. So we're not like one of those companies that's all together all the time. It is definitely a hybrid thing. We do events together throughout the year. That is usually our cadence. We do our call nights every third Thursday of the month. We do that for ever since we joined Place 3 or 4 years now. Yeah, that's what we do.
Man, I'm a little bit maybe surprised that you don't have a culture of everybody shows up in the office every day, every morning. It's sometimes, or this is impressive. All right, let's go back to the lead sources. As you bring a new agent in, are you kind of coaching them to have like multiple legs of that business? Initially, are they focused on one leg and then they'll add some out? Like, talk me through how you think about kind of coaching a new agent on your team through that exercise of maybe like the lead gen wheel almost.
Yeah, of course. So we're kind of like in a sort of a shifting time right now. I mean, I guess every business is adapting, but in years past, we've been super, super heavy on our calling our database. When I say database, our greater database, like our lead ponds and stuff like that. So we require them to reach out to their sphere, just like the place like playbook. So our sphere, open houses, and then some sort of prospecting pillar. And typically that pillar for most agents is just going to be outreach into our database. But those are our 3 core pillars for a new agent right now. But I've slowly been shifting over into more homeowner type activities, and it's more outreach to homeowners and not just buyer leads from 3 or 4 years ago, which typically really are homeowners. My biggest challenge right now, though, is getting hold of people. Like, it is harder and harder to connect with somebody on the phone, and it's only getting harder, right? I don't think it's going to change for the better for us. So we've had to come up with different ways to get creative on how to reach out to people, texting before we call, not bothering them too much. Nobody wants 18 calls in a week. That's just not real world. So, that is a challenge that we were all facing, is just how to contact people, especially people that raise their hand, not just cold calling people just out of the blue, but, people that are actively on the website, or maybe they are really filling out a form. Some people fill out a form, and I'll try for my Brivity number and my iPhone.
I think that's super smart,
and it goes
so smart.
It goes straight to their filters. My wife bought an iPhone a month or 2 ago, and the default settings was she outside people couldn't, people outside her contacts couldn't get a hold of her. So we just have to adapt, and we've been sending direct mail. That's been something we've been just slowly. I mean, this isn't like some big huge campaign, but postcards have been showing up on my in my head, I guess. just strategic future things to do to get a hold of someone. That's been my biggest challenge.
I love we almost have to go back to go forward now, right? People have figured out, like you said, the iPhone, it'll default on don't ring for people that aren't in my contact, right? And all that kind of stuff. We have to go back to, well, postcards used to be a big thing we always did. And there's no way that they're not going to get through still. So good job, David, on being able to say what used to work that's still working, because I haven't yet solved this solution. When it comes to this, I want to ask, as you've got a big team, you've got people doing lots of things, you got new people. What are the standards over there on the team? Are there standards like you have to do the Brivity day in a life, or you have to make X number of contacts? We don't care how you do it. Do you have standards on the team, and how do you recruit people to buy into them, and how do you hold people to them?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do have standards. So 25 conversations per week, which really, there's teams that do 20 conversations per day. And so it's not that much. And actually, if you mix in there, you just have calls to your seller about an offer. I mean, that could be 6 per day right there. So I believe that, it is a standard. It's not elite level, but that is how a agent that's a place agent on our team is what we call them. That is how they can consistently receive team generated opportunities with us and ultimately stay on the team. If we have a ladder, and if an agent opts out from our standards, after 3 or 4 weeks, then there's a different conversation that goes on. But including those standards is not just prospecting activities, although that is the number one thing. It's not creating drag on our admin staff. When the agent doesn't respond quickly to a transaction type message, it slows everybody down. And in order to have not a ton of staff supporting our agents, which we're happy to support them, but we need agents that are good team members on our team. So that's another one. And then 1 open house per month, which again is not elite level by any means. I believe if you're an agent and you want to grow an open house business, you need to be doing 2 to 3 per week before you're even in the game of like, is this working for me or not? So some agents do a lot. Some agents will do 2 a week. I would say that's a good rhythm for people. But I tell people, when I started, it was just me, and like I did open house. My wife knew I just would not be available Sunday afternoons, and I grew my business that way. Whether I wanted to be there or not, most some of the time I didn't want to be there. Right? I mean, none of us really love it every single time. But you start having the same conversations with the same people. Like they'll show up. They're like the people that show up on like an open house circuit, and it'd be a different part of town. They're like, didn't I see you last week? And you start having you start building relationships that way. So that's a big one for us too, is having that 1 open house per month.
I love that you're being honest, right? That you're not just getting on this and saying, hey, everybody, it's 20 calls a day and it's this and it's that, because this is what I've heard from other people. No, folks, you don't have to have some standard someone else said. If it's the standards that you and your team want to have, if you're in that position of being the leader of the team, 25 conversations a week, 1 open house a month, and don't be a drag on the organization. Yeah. Boom. That defines what an agent needs to do to become part of the organization.
Yeah. Yep.
What if I so that gets me a certain business, the minimum standards. What if an agent comes to you and says, I want to be a 50 deal a year agent? Like, what does that conversation look like, David? How do you start to mentor an agent who's telling you, I want to do weird, big, abnormal things in real estate, because doing 50 transactions a year is crazy?
Yeah, they have to increase their activities. I mean, that really is it. There's no other. What it takes is what it takes. It's like to answer your question directly, it really depends on the situation of the agent. So, like some agents, we have an agent on our team, Maddie, and she does very little. If you go into Brevity, I don't know if you'll see too many phone calls out of Brevity, and she doesn't call me very many people. She has a huge network. she's a fitness guru. She's jacked and she works out at she's like coaches at I turn this off. She coaches at her CrossFit, and I bet she'll do close to 50 this year. She's probably like our top 3 agent volume in units. And her thing is social media. Just she has a network of people. People love her. She's been pouring into people before she got into real estate, helping them get fit and helping them get healthy. And I think that comes back to her. So with her, why change it, right? Like she's happy, she's successful, and she doesn't need to be calling 800 people a week. However, if somebody shows up and they're like, yeah, I really don't have a big sphere, and I've got time on my hands, but I don't have a lot of skills just yet. There, obviously, you gotta look at, well, how are you going to talk to people? Because the number one metric is appointments. It's appointments met. I mean, that is, no matter what anybody says, that is appointments met. Okay, but obviously you got to get to that. And it's conversations. It's real estate conversations with people. That is maybe you can argue it's not the number one metric, but it is a good metric to focus on for most people. So it's like, all right, well, you got to be talking to people about real estate. This is a sales job. Like, this isn't like, you're not just going to get leads all day, rained on you. What I've learned is, like, we're a medium-sized team, I would say. I think a large team, not a brokerage, would be like the 40, 50, in my opinion. So it is hard to generate just hand off leads for 20 agents. I mean, it's really hard. I don't know. So you got to come with the intention, and you got to come with the desire to generate your own business. And we've got close to 30,000 people in our database that are doing stuff, that have done stuff, and they got to be willing to have conversations with those people. So going back to your question, it's like, okay, if you don't have a big sphere, you don't work out at CrossFit, and you don't have a huge social media presence, what are you going to do? And typically it's open houses, just good old fashioned open houses, and reaching out to people inside our database. Well, one thing I want to add to that is I do want to circle prospect around listings in a way that is, I don't know if it's different, but just like with a different message than just like, we've got this house that we've listed, down the street. Are you interested in it? Or, I mean, would you have anybody that that's interested in it? But more of like, would it make sense if we just showed you some options on like what you could do with your home? Could you get a cash offer? Could you do you need help like listing it and prepping, stuff like that, and putting them into more of a long-term nurture kind of like process in our business. So I'm really focused on processes. I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, but that's what we're doing.
That's good. I love it. I don't know why you made me think of, there's an agent in our world, Ethan Trowbridge, David. He's up in Minnesota. He's a young kid. And you said something that made me think about what he does. He every time he's got a buyer, and you tell me what you think of this. Every time he has a buyer, what most of us do is we go to the MLS and we're like, there's houses, and we show them some, and they're like, I don't really like any of these. And now we just sit there and we wait for the house that they want to come on the market, right? And we get them on a listing alert, and 6 months later, they still haven't seen anything, and we're staying in touch with them. Go ahead, you're fine. Sorry, I've got kids home for summer break. This one's first time cooking. He's upstairs cooking right now. If my fire alarm starts going off, guys, we're in trouble.
We'll take care of it if that's is burning.
So he doesn't do that, though. When he has a buyer and that house that they want on day one is not on the MLS, David, he starts calling to go find them a house, right? Yep. And consistently having done this over the last 2 years now, he has people that when he called them 6 months ago because he had a buyer for their house and they're like, we're good, man. Like he's the guy they call back when they're ready to list their house later. And he has just really turned his prospecting on its head. Right. Yeah. Like he's turned it upside down to where he's using buyers to go find listings. And most of us are using listings and waiting for buyers to show up for them. And I just think that's such a kind of getting to your point of like, I gotta talk to people about real estate and like what are the reasons that I might have to call and reach out to somebody. When I've got a buyer, that's a really good potential reason to reach out to a bunch of folks.
Yeah, I agree. There's a whole like a VIP home buyer type of list, right? Where it's like you enroll people and it's like, I know you're not ready to commit right now or maybe even find a house. I think it even applies to those people too. But I'm talking to homeowners all day long. Would it make sense for you if I just got some information from you, and maybe if I find one of these homeowners that has a house that you're looking for, maybe I'll reach out to you and see if it would make sense for you to maybe look at it and make it off market type of offer, right?
Yeah. The flip side of that is true too. As the homeowner, if somebody called me today, right now, in my current situation of where I live and said, hey, like, I'm not trying to list my house right now, but if somebody called me and said, hey, I got a buyer, they kind of like your house, I would let them look at it. Okay.
Yeah.
If it was that easy and somebody buyer was going to show up and you were going to give me what I thought my house was worth, and we can, like, yes, I would do it today. Because my wife and I are kind of thinking about it, but it's a big process and we got to find the next house. But if I had a buyer here right now willing to pay what I want to sell it for, I would be much more likely to start that process of going and finding my thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? I think it's a lot easier for people to make that phone call to a seller when they really do have a buyer. Because I really do have someone that is interested in this neighborhood. I don't know everything about your house, but part of my job is I'm literally a broker between buyers and sellers, and I'm reaching out to you to see if it would make sense for, I don't want to waste your time, but for us to even talk to the buyer about it. I think that's a good way to generate business and to support your buyers that you're working with, and get listings. I mean, really, some sellers they appreciate the hustle.
That's a David, go ahead, John.
Go ahead, Bob. I wanted to shift gears a little bit here because I want to see what you're doing to stay top of mind with people. You mentioned maybe some postcards. You mentioned a lot of your agents also have a sphere. They have their community, their network, however it is developed. Are you using any of the auto plans that are in Brivity? Are you building your own auto plan? What are you doing to stay top of mind with all those clients you've generated over your years of doing real estate?
Yeah, I send 2 video emails per month to our database. And then another one, a third one, which is some sort of lead generation, right? Some sort of call to action. So we've been doing this for years, but we educate. So are
the video emails education?
All education.
So give me an example. What was a recent one? So our audience is like, I want to send this. What's a recent one you shot? How long are they?
What are the smartest upgrades to make to your home to improve your equity, right? Or your ROI? I mean, oh my gosh. What could you do? How to buy and sell at the same time? Those are thoughts on people's.
I mean, something I could easily go to ChatGPT and say, give me 10 video ideas that I need.
It's never been easier. Like it's never been easier.
How long are they? 30 seconds? 5 minutes?
They're 3 to 5 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes.
They're short form. They get, put on YouTube, and then they get sent out to our database, and people watch them. We reach out to people that do watch them. Do you have any questions? Do you have any interest? Is there anything we can do? But it's a little bit different than that, really, because my VAs are reaching out to them, and they're saying, Dave sent you an email. Did you have a chance to watch it? Do you want some time on Dave's calendar to chat about whatever it is that they, a lot of times it's not, I want to sell my house right now. Let's just be real. They might have a question. And I'm really big on, the homeowner or the seller nurture process. People get too excited about a home value lead. And some of them are ready to go, but most people aren't. They're like, I think in our industry, like the generally speaking, like the follow-up process is just not oriented towards what the actual consumer is experiencing. And we just think it's like, all right, well, they click their home value, and so it means they're going to want to sell soon. It really doesn't. So I think the most important thing is what happens after that and the process that you follow of staying in touch with them and providing them like relevant information and not just the same thing every time. Am I frozen? Okay.
You're good. Right.
Your audio's working even when the video.
The audio's perfect.
It's this mountain Wi-Fi. So going back to your question though, we have we have auto planes that we use. So some agents on my team are they're not CRM people, and I just kind of gave up trying to get them to be CRM people. It is what it is. But the other agents, we use day in the life for I would say most of our agents are not using auto plans. They are using the status as their cadence of when they're going to follow up, which is fine. And then they're adding tasks. And if you do that, any CRM that you use, you'll have a good business, I believe. But what my VAs are doing is we might just set 1 or 2 tasks into the future, and then we're doing a sync together using AI, and then we are creating 2 more tasks, and it changes, right? Because people change their conversations, their situations, and we're not using like the generic, I would say, auto plans.
Hallelujah. Yeah. I think an auto plan works for a brand new lead, and I think once I've talked to somebody, like the next thing is attacked because they are a real human, David.
Yeah, it changes so quick.
Yeah, and they don't want to get dripped on, and you're sending them stuff about the curb appeal on their house, and they're like, we live in a condo. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. I love that.
Yeah, and AI identifies that at scale. It's superhuman. I mean, people, you can't keep up with all those little things that's going outside your database because you don't have the time to spend all the time researching every single profile 10 minutes and then they're not even answering the phone call. You won't get anything done.
That's so true. I mean, it's really why I think the dialer is like the secret weapon, because if you don't use that thing, it's almost impossible not to go into the lead and be like, okay, what's going on with this guy? Right?
Yeah.
It's like, let me just get a similar set of people. And then when I start the conversation, I ask an open-ended question that allows them to dictate where that conversation is going to go.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't have the time to research. What I do before I make a call is it really takes about like 15 seconds. I ask the AI to prepare the call for me, and if they answer, I'll have the conversation, and then I'll have a voicemail and a text ready to go, and it's really rich in context of what they're doing. So that's been helpful too.
I love that. Shout out to Gabby. You guys get in there and use your Gabby. She's superhuman. I think that's a really good descriptor of the AI that sits over the top, because you have 47,000 leads, or I guess I'm looking in you guys have 39,000 leads. Like who knows what any one of those people are doing on a given day? Not to mention some of them have been in here for 6 years, David, right? Like there's 6 years worth of stuff that you would have had to study. It would have taken you 15 minutes to figure out what the context of that lead was. That's a superpower. Is there anything else, anything else you guys are doing that is different, abnormal? And by the way, maybe it's just, we just consistently show up and get the contacts in, and that's abnormal, which it is, by the way.
Well, I don't know if this is abnormal. It could be I would say for most agents, but I've been really coaching our agents and really in our company and people outside our company is like, right now, where AI is going, we all know it's going to be more and more helpful for us. But like, if you're not making the inputs into your database right now, you're going to be you might be okay right now. You might not feel it in maybe even less than a year. Those inputs, people that have followed that process, like they're going to be kicking butt, and the agents that don't have that AI leverage are going to be missing out big time. So like, we're really big on every single appointment that you go on. You need to put those notes in there because your future self is going to need that for context, for really good context,
Yeah. Hey, AI, find me everybody I had an appointment with last year that did not end up buying or selling a house. Let's see if they want to do it this year.
Or said this, right? I don't have a very good memory, and I wish I'd had a better memory, but Like, I can't remember 3 weeks from now what was said on an appointment or how
if you can remember what was said, it means you're not going on enough.
Yeah.
That's where, right? Put it in the database. That's what Brivity is there for. Fill it with the notes. Let Gabby help.
Yeah. Every single thing about that person should go into Brivity. And you're not, it's going to help you, but it's going to help them more, the clients, because now they have somebody that knows how to help them best. And so that's been really great. I mean, Gabby reads all that, scans it constantly. And people need to start reading those, not just ignoring them, but actually read what it says. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
If you have data in there, if you don't have data, it's not going to help you.
Yeah. All right. We're at the end of our time, you guys. Here's what I heard him say. The fundamentals haven't changed. Like, we got to have conversations with people.
Yeah.
The leverage is these tools make it so that we can have better conversation with. That's what this is all about. The CRM, the AI, the listing alerts and the market reports, it's all about having a better conversation with those folks.
It is.
David, you guys have an amazing business down there. You sell a ton of houses. We're going to let you get back to vacation, man. I'm sorry we interrupted your vacation. Thank you for doing this while you're out there with the family. No problem at all. I love it. I love it. You have a business that allows you to go away. I bet there's still going to be some houses that sell and close this week while you're gone, right?
Yeah. Oh,
100%. 100%. That's a great business. Thanks for sharing it with us today, David. Have a great one, man.
Go Team USA.
Yeah, go soccer. Go
I'll be watching.
foosball. See you guys. Bye, Chad.